Episode 7 of Thursday Thoughts, tools and tool trucks. I figured that kind of goes hand in hand. So I got a comment about somebody asking, getting in the industry and like tools and stuff. So my opinion on tools is, well, you need them to do the job, and then buy the best that you can afford. So don't just go out and buy everything Harbor Freight. A lot of people do that, and then, like, don't get me wrong, I got a lot of Harbor Freight stuff, but don't go out and buy everything Harbor Freight and expect it to last like Snap-on or Mech or Matco. So what I say is, if you're just starting out and you need to buy tools, I mean, Icon makes some pretty good stuff. The Harbor Freight stuff, it's pretty affordable. I don't have any Icon wrenches, but I have a bunch of Icon sockets, and they seem to work good. 1/2-inch drive and 3/4 drive, if you need 3/4 drive, buy the Pittsburgh, because they work just fine, no problem. But then, like, you need a good impact gun. So check eBay. Like, if you're looking for something specific, like Mech, Matco, or a name brand, and you want something specific, check eBay. Because I got a lot of stuff on eBay, and I've never had a problem with it not working. So you can always ask extra questions and stuff. Look on Facebook Marketplace. You can get a lot of stuff pretty cheap. Don't just run out on the tool truck and buy a bunch of stuff like on credit, because the credit can be a double-edged sword. So a lot of the tool trucks, they give you credit, and then if you want like extended credit, like to buy a box or something, or a scan tool, something big, then yeah, they do extended credit, and it's like 19%, 20% interest. It can be a lot, but you know, the weekly payment's only $50 a month. So, but tool truck credit can be good. So like, if you need a wrench or a ratchet, or you need something specific, then you can buy it. What I always used to do is, you buy one thing, you pay it off, or you pay it down to $20-25, and then you buy something else. So that's why you can build your tool collection for quality stuff. Don't just go out and buy a bunch of stuff. Toolboxes, you know, like, I don't know about the Icon box. If I needed to buy a toolbox, I don't need one because I have a truck, but if I needed a toolbox, I would definitely buy a Snap-on. Just, it's my favorite kind of boxes. I had a Matco box and I had a Mech box, and the Snap-on one was my favorite. It's just the way they're built, the heavy dutiness. I like the dimensions, the size. I like the locking stuff. So if you need a toolbox, yeah, buy a nice one. I would rather have a cheap toolbox full of nice tools than a nice toolbox full of cheap tools. That's just mine. So I'm not going to go into like details on what kind of tools you need, because you don't know until what you're working on. But pretty much anything you need, 1/4, 3/8, and 1/2-inch drive. I mean, no matter what you're working on, I couldn't imagine you not needing 1/2-inch drive. I mean, 3/4, if you're working on equipment or trucks, you need 3/4. If you're working on automobiles and pickups and stuff, there's probably a couple things you'll need 3/4, but you won't need 3/4 all the time. Like, if you're doing large fasteners all the time, then you need a set. But there again too, like, my 3/4 impacts are all Pittsburgh, and they work pretty good. And then my large chrome set was like, I think it was $200, and it's Pittsburgh. Yeah, I got a nice 3/4 ratchet, but the sockets are fine, and I had to grind one of them, so it's easier to destroy a cheap tool than an expensive tool. Another place too is if you got like swap meets or flea markets is a great place to get stuff. So like, sometimes there's like automobile specific flea markets there, but sometimes they know what they have more often than not. But if you have like just a regular flea market that just sells everything, it's good to check there, because I found stuff at times where people didn't know what they had. Like, they had a Snap-on or a Blue Point wrench or something, and they didn't know what it was, and they sold it pretty cheap. So I got quite a bit of stuff at flea markets. My Milwaukee quarter drill I got at a flea market. I've had that thing for, I mean, before I even started wrenching. Like, I probably had that thing almost 15 years now, and it was used when I bought it, so it still works good. So that's another thing, is just check. And then another thing that I can highly recommend is if you have, or if you're going to go to a battery platform, pick a battery platform and stick with it. So I have two. I have the Snap-on 14.4, which is kind of the smaller one, and then I have IR 20 volt. But Milwaukee, I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of Milwaukee power tools, like at least the battery stuff, but they kind of get you there with the M18 and the M12 charger. You can get an M18 kit. You got the M12 charger right there. You could get everything. I mean, that's pretty handy. You have one charger for everything. It helps to not have a bunch of chargers. At one point, I had like 3 or 4 different tool brands, and I had a bunch of chargers. So that's definitely a plus, to just have one charger, or I have 2, and it's all right. And what I would do is I would hold off on the bigger tools, and I would invest more in like the ratchets. Get a ratchet, and like maybe a small impact that runs on the smaller battery platform, and stick with air on the bigger stuff. Because if you're first starting out, you're not going to be in a truck, and you're going to be in a shop, and they got air tools. And I would use air, so I'd use an air impact, 1/2-inch drive, 3/8. I would just get air stuff because it's way cheaper. I'd even go to Harbor Freight for that, because I think that'd be fine. I mean, the Earthquake 3/8 drive or 1/2-inch drive, I think it'd be fine for what you're doing. I was thinking about getting one just to try it out, but I don't really need one, so I don't know if I'm going to. And then I would just hold off on the electric stuff until you're at that point, because you don't really, that Milwaukee, what is it, high torque M18 might be pretty cool, yeah, but you can get away with an air and a lot cheaper and buy other stuff. And then specialty tools, I mean, everybody needs specialty tools or certain things. So my background, where I started, was a private company as a fleet tech, and now I'm a fleet mechanic. But it's a whole lot different from dealership, because if you start in the dealership, there's a lot of dealer tools where, like, when you're working for a fleet, you don't have dealer tools. So there are certain things that's like shop tools. I remember when I was working at Peterbilt, the Peterbilt International dealer, they were like, there was some guys that were like, oh, that's a shop tool, you shouldn't have that in your toolbox. Yeah, but there's certain things where, like, you're just not gonna have it. So perfect example was it was a cooling system refiller, like the vacuum ones. I've shown it before. They're like, oh, that's a shop tool. Well, yeah, but the shop I worked at wasn't going to buy it, so I wanted one, so I bought it. So yeah, certain things like that, cooling system pressure testers and testers, compression testers, that kind of stuff. Some of that is shop stuff, but it's not that expensive. So, it's something you might want to have in your toolbox or in your truck. And like, there's certain things where you can go back and forth between, like, a shop tool, like jack stands and jacks and stuff like that. Like, some of that is shop stuff, but like, I have a 20-ton air jack that I keep with me that it was affordable enough that I bought it. I didn't need to have the shop buy it. So then handle tools and stuff like pry bars, I would buy the Milwaukee ones. They're pretty cheap. I mean, set I got was $75 for the 4 Milwaukee pry bars. I was at Home Depot the other day. I was probably a month ago, and that set is now $78. It's like $77.99, but it's still worth it. I still think that set's worth it. Screwdrivers, I would buy like Klein's or Milwaukee or something, because the Snap-on ones I have aren't the best quality. Or Vessel makes some really nice screwdrivers, and they're not that expensive. That stuff I just get on Amazon. Screwdrivers, pry bars. You get Mayhew pry bars. Just get that stuff on Amazon. Hammers, I'd say you can get Harbor Freight. Like the Icon hammers are pretty cool, or Husky or whatever. Those are pretty cool. But then I would say if your punches, you need to kind of buy a better punch. Like, I have the Snap-on punches, and I think they're the best. You need good punches. Like, you can't cheap out on punches. That's not something I would cheap out on, those punches. Wrenches are something that you definitely need to have a better quality at. Like the old, what are they, Craftsman raised panels aren't the best. But I would look on eBay for wrenches. I mean, Mech, Matco, Snap-on. Look on eBay. You might find a wrench set, or buy them individually, and you might be able to get them pretty cheap. I'd prefer better ones. The ones I got are the TRP ones that they're rebranded Blue Point, but you should be able to find those at like if you have a Peterbilt or a Kenworth dealer nearby. I haven't seen them since Hawaii, but they should be able to get them for you, not a problem. That's my thoughts on tools and tool trucks. There's certain things you're going to have to buy on the tool truck. That's just the way it is. But I would just check secondhand places first. Even pawn shops. If you have a pawn shop, sometimes you can get some good deals at pawn shops. I checked that out. So thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. We are now on TikTok. If you want to go check us out on TikTok. If you'd like to make a donation to the channel, that'd be much appreciated. There's a PayPal link. I bought a new camera and a new laptop, so I need to help pay for some of that. Thank you.